This week on the Brody and Mo In-Law Show.
It's been a little distraction for me from sports, I guess, is trying to chase a toddler out of the toilet.
I don't know enough about hockey. I don't know enough about the franchise, but this is your realm.
The impression that I got is that he's just disappointed that they still have hockey in the desert.
State Farm Stadium, where people are showing up midway through the first quarter and leaving in the third.
Tech.
Yo, tech. Tech deck. Check.
Tech deck. Oh no.
Remember Tech Deck?
Maybe that's what we need to talk about is what toys would be obsolete now.
None toys. Every toy will make a comeback.
Yeah, okay. Everyone makes a comeback. Okay, how about this? Which toy would you hope makes the most prominent comeback? Like which toy
Pogs.
Do you remember better than everything?
Pogs.
Oh, I remember getting in a fight in elementary school over Pogs.
100%. If you didn't get in a fight over Pogs, you were doing it wrong. It was literally called the Slammer.
Like slammers and oh man, Pogs.
You remember? Did you have a favorite Pog?
I
had a favorite Pog.
I had a favorite Pog. I don't remember much about it. I just remember liking the Pog I had.
I had one that was an 8-ball with a flame on it,
yeah.
Which I did not think was cool, but everybody in school thought it was super cool, so it became my favorite.
Right.
And I would never put that one up in a keeper's match ever.
Never played it?
No, you don't ever play that one.
Oh.
But I did also get did you have the tube?
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Like a Pringles can. But it wasn't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, Pogs! What a game! I remember yo-yos being quite the thing for a while too. I could bring back a yo-yo.
We've seen the video of competitive yoing.
Yeah, yoing. Yo.
And it seems that it has not gone anywhere. It remains.
Okay, so we're not counting that as bringing it back.
I don't think you can bring back something that
never left.
It might be on life support, but it's still here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll think about that.
The only other thing I can think of from that time frame is Tamagotchis. Is that how you say? I forget how you say the word pocket pets.
Yeah, okay. So the pocket pet thing,
Tamagotchis?
Tamagotchis.
Tamagotchi. I think that's
No,
it.
I think the ultimate one is, and I don't know if you would count this, but an N64. I had more fun on an N64 than probably Pogs or card games or any of that.
I loved the N64. I probably would still love it.
I played even in college. We got a hold of one at a game stops.
Game stops here.
And we played Super Smash Bros for hours. Probably why I ended up making my 4th year a 5th year in college. It was because of Super Smash Bros. For being honest.
Do you recall how insane the shape of the Nintendo 64 controller is?
Yeah.
How it makes absolutely no biometric sense.
No sense at all.
To design a thing in that particular shape.
Not only they made it in that shape, but they made it big. Right? Oh, they made it big. So it wasn't even awkward to hold. It was awkward to hold because it didn't fit in your hands, and yet you also couldn't put it down. So
somehow not designed for humans.
And I don't ever remember using the far right part of it. The far left part of it, excuse me, the far left.
No,
I only used the joystick in the middle and the trigger.
Exactly. You never used a D-pad on a Nintendo 64. What kind of fool? Because you would literally have to let go of your grip on the big honking middle section and go over to this superfluous vestigial organ that was the left side of the controller.
The left side of the controller was the gallbladder of
yes.
No,
Wait,
the appendix. The appendix.
Gallbladder's
it was
appendix,
the appendix
yes.
of all video games. Like at one point it served a purpose, but it's been so long that we don't even know what it is.
We have no idea. And
get it out of here.
It's now evolved into serving a purpose again, but it looks completely different. You pick up like a... what do I even have? I have a Switch. You pick up the Nintendo Switch controller.
Totally different.
There's no wasted space on that bad boy.
I don't have a Switch. I don't have any video game paraphernalia at my house. And I think it's because I would be addicted and I would never get anything done. So it's probably for the best that I don't have that temptation, I guess.
That's a smart move on your part.
Maybe, yeah. I thought about it for a long time, and then Chelsea was like, no, because that's all you'll do. And I'm like, dang, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's all I would do.
Well, now you have to get one and prove her wrong.
So Switch? Should I get a Switch?
Or I think you should get a Switch.
Okay.
I like Nintendo products because, like, I'm not going to go play every new game that comes out.
Oh.
I want to play a very small subset of video games. And that's it.
Okay, just like these are mine, and I already know I like them, and I'm gonna stay with them.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
These are my. They hit the nostalgia itch for me.
You got it.
They're also not too complicated.
Yeah.
Video games are so complicated.
That's true. I agree with that. They're way too complicated. Like,
I want simple escapism and the ability to hit a soccer ball with a rocket car.
Is that too much
what
to
else
ask?
do you even
Come
need?
on.
Is that too much to ask?
Elon Musk, we're asking for this, all right? Stop spending cars into the moon. We want to hit them with a soccer ball, okay? I don't know what you're doing, man. We haven't even introed the episode yet, Mo. We're off the rockers here.
I know. Welcome to Season 2 of the Brody and Mo In-Law Show. The game stops here. A tale of free agency. I am Mo.
By the way,
I'm
Brody, and you came up with the best. I've been reflecting on this all week. That was the best. That's the best tagline. You get the gold star, man.
That was a joint effort, without a doubt.
No, but if you go back and listen to the episode, you came up with a hefty part of it. I think I never
go back and listen to the episodes. Brody.
I think
once it's done, I never listen to it. You have to leave the past in the past. I have no idea what is said on this show. I've never heard it. I'm unfamiliar with it.
Once you leave your little box, it's over, right? Like that's the end.
I click end and we post it as is. No editing.
And you and I don't talk during the week. So it's just whatever we bring up, this is it. Once a week we talk to each other and this is what we come out with and we share it with the world.
That last part isn't as much in jest as we made it out to be, because you and I were doing some pre-production on this here episode and realized that the most prominent sporting event that we as self-proclaimed sports experts and podcasters could come up with for the week was the fact that it is the 25th anniversary of the fictional Waterbury Open, won, of course, on the last hole by Happy Gilmore over Shooter McGavin. So happy anniversary to Happy Gilmore. Green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit? Happy Gilmore.
You're bringing the bleep button back. It's been a while since we've used it.
That's just a direct quote from the film. That is not my words.
Thank you for clarifying. That's I know it's weird, Mo, as a dad, how obviously priorities change and how sports are just a secondary, tertiary thing, you know, like I was watching the hockey game and you know, you're kind of going in and out of it. When I was single, it was all sports all the time. Maybe not single, but before I was a dad, right? Like that's what it was. But then you have a kid and you're like, man, I want to spend time with my kid.
Your focus and your priorities change pretty drastically. And you were telling me that you are in a phase with Sadie now where not only do you personally need to change your priorities, but she is aggressively changing your priorities on your behalf, whether you want them to change or not. She's letting you know where you should be focusing your attention.
Right. And so Sadie has now gotten to the point of, we call her Your Highness because she now tells us when we can eat and when we can use the restroom and when we can breathe and just general living. So like she's like, lately it's Dad, watch. And so you have to watch her do her trick, and she like jumps and spins in the air. She does like she's attempting a 360, but she really only gets to about 90 degrees. But she's getting there. That watch, and it's like, sweetie, I have done nothing but watch you for 2.5 years. I can't like focus any more on you than what I'm currently doing. Okay, Dad, watch. I am okay. Why are you yelling at me? I'm here. I'm your guy. Like, you know. So we're in the Dad watch. She did do something today that kind of freaked me out. Like, but no, not freaked me out. That's not the right word, but took me by surprise. So we've been really trying this potty training, right? We've been going on it, and she's doing a lot better now than when we first started. She's doing really well. But it's like, okay, Dada has to go to the bathroom, and then we'll go to the park. It's like, Dada, do you need help? No, sweetie, I am. Dada, I help you. And she grabbed my hand and led me to the bathroom. It's like, this is a toilet. You're like, thanks, sweetie, but it's going to make life a lot easier if you go in the other room now. please, just, I got it from here. You've pointed me in the right direction. You've got me to where I needed to go. You've got me to the toilet. This is the part where you leave.
I would say that's indicative that your training is taking, though, right? She's doing the exact thing you want her to do, just maybe not for herself, for other people.
Exactly. Like something is sticking in her brain that, have to go to the bathroom or have to go potty means we go to the toilet and when we do our thing. She just doesn't know that, like, when Dada says, I have to go to the bathroom, I don't need company. When Sadie goes to the bathroom, you need company because you're still putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So, that's been it's been a little distraction for me from sports, I guess, is trying to chase a toddler out of the toilet.
As literally not even having enough time to yourself to use the facilities.
Yeah, apparently those are now team activities in our house. It's a team sport. Bathroom.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that actually make it a sporting event in and of itself?
There are times
you're not focused on the traditional sports as the rest of the world in America might see them, but you are kind of creating your own unique and slightly disgusting sport.
It has spectators. They're very expensive. And in the end, you end up disappointed that they were there. So it's a Arizona sporting event, is what this is.
It almost really did hit the criteria that we set in season 1 for what a sporting event is. I think the only thing missing was we talked about it needing some kind of competitive edge.
Yeah, I think.
And I don't want you to come up with something competitive in this particular arena.
No.
I would prefer no competition here.
No, there's no contest in bathroom going. It's just Dad goes to the bathroom when he has to go to the bathroom, and Sadie and Dada does not need help. Sadie thinks he does. Sadie definitely needs help, but thinks she doesn't. So it's a vicious cycle. She's doing better. Mm-hmm. She's doing really good potty training. So I got to give her credit.
Good.
Not 100%. It should be a team sport when she's, having to go, but when Dad needs to go, it's a solo activity.
It's not entirely true that we didn't talk about anything sports related this week. I tagged you in an article from who is my all-time favorite sports media and reporting website, Defector.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar much with Defector and how they came about, what their story is.
They don't sponsor us, so no.
No, they don't, but I do sponsor them.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's kind of a reverse. This is a reverse pitch.
I'm in.
So I tagged you in an article by Defector Media talking about how the Coyotes are a garbage fire dumpster of a franchise that makes every other bad franchise look good. And one of our, I assume he's a listener. He may very well not be. Shares a first name with a current Coyote player. Has buried his proverbial ostrich head in the sand and will not even read the article. So frustrated, won't even read it. Hey, I've got another friend who's a huge, decades-long stalwart Coyotes fan, agrees wholeheartedly with everything in the article, and is also not a Clayton Keller fan whatsoever. Thinks they overpaid for him, that he's overrated, and that even if they wanted to move him at this point for being bad, no one in the NHL would take a flyer on him. Just kind of like shares our dour outlook on all things Arizona sports, but it's all funneled into the Coyotes. Agrees with everything in that article. I'm not going to summarize the article here, mostly because there's a paywall on it and people should pay to actually read that because people work hard at other sports news stations and should get money for it. But you read it, I read it. Thoughts? Do you agree with it? Do you think the Coyotes are the dumpster fire that they made them out to be in that article? Because they came down pretty hard, especially for a franchise that shares a state with like the Diamondbacks and the long-suffering Cardinals. To come at the Coyotes seemed like, I don't know enough about hockey. I don't know enough about the franchise, but this is your realm.
The impression that I got is that he's just disappointed that they still have hockey in the desert, right? Like there's just the market is not holding up its end of the deal, and that people don't want hockey in the desert. And I don't know that's fair, right? Like I think that hockey would work in the desert. There's definitely been, especially as of lately, very, very bad. They made a very, very bad hire in John Chayka. Okay. And at the time, he was the youngest GM in all major sports, and it showed. He made some very poor decisions. He made some very poor. He trusted in some really poor people that ended up hurting him, and he cost the Coyotes a lot of draft picks. They cost them some other cap issues. They did a very poor job in the draft. Okay. And drafted a guy who had a long history of saying some very bad things that they should not have drafted. And that's why he fell so far, this kid, because everybody knew that was his background. And yet still the Coyotes still took a flyer on him, which I just I disagree with. He shouldn't have been drafted. So you've lost not only your precious draft picks, but you lost it on your one guy that you could really draft high. So a lot of it is self-inflicted wounds with poor management from previous years and poor, I'm going to go with poor management and poor ownership, right? A lot of people are buying in, bought into sports and enter in it to make money and weren't doing it earlier. I think that he's wrong about Alex Morello. I think he's a good owner. I think he's made some great hires with their new GMs and their new CEOs. So I'm going to disagree with him on that. I think Alex Morello has been a really good owner of the team. This year, every sports team is going to lose money. So I'm not going to buy into that. Every sports team is going to lose money. Maybe the NFL will, because NFL is still dominant sport in Arizona and in America. But again, back with Chayka, he paid Keller, right? And I think Keller is overpaid. He hasn't lived up to the hype that he was supposed to. But I'm going to also, as the eternal optimist on the Coyotes, they've got Keller on a good line now. He is really bringing it on lately. They've got him on a line with I think today he was with Garland and
Schmaltz and
Nick Schmaltz, and they're like, dude, they're moving the puck really well. They made the Blues look a little silly. I mean, we're talking about the St. Louis Blues look silly with that line. So I think they've got him in a good pairing that's going to feed off of each other. But he also signed Connor Garland. Connor Garland's making $800,000 this year. That's a lot of money to the layman folks, but in the sports world, that's nothing. And he is an elite player right now. I mean, he is playing out of his mind. So you got to take a little bit of the good with the bad too. They're stuck with Keller for another few years. nobody's going to want to take on his contract for what he's been able to produce. So I get that. That's painting with an awfully big brush that they're just the bottom, the worst of all sports media. I think history has shown that they're not great. They haven't made it to a Stanley Cup final yet. They haven't been perpetual playoff proponents, but the eternal optimist is that they're still moving things, and they're still trying, and they're still working really hard. And I think hockey does belong in the desert, and it can work. It's just fans in Arizona are fair weather fans. When the team wins, they'll rally behind you full force. When you're losing, they drop out. And we even see that with even as dominant of a sport as NFL with the Cardinals. When the Cardinals aren't winning, nobody's going to games. When the Suns aren't winning, nobody's going to games. When the Coyotes aren't winning, they're not going to games. So I think if they can get some wins together, they can get some points together and make a push, you're looking at a bigger fan base.
What franchise would you put underneath the Coyotes as the bottom of the barrel? The obvious answer is the Browns, right? The Cleveland Browns are the obvious answer here
or Cincinnati.
Just garbage franchise. Cincinnati, Ohio, the state of Ohio.
Yeah, the state of Ohio, maybe. I mean, they have Ohio State Buckeyes, which apparently win everything
I'm
also.
I'm unfamiliar
which
with
is
that
dumb.
program. Never heard of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't know much about that school or
Can't comment on that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about hockey, and I don't know enough about this team. The things that you're saying are almost identical to what I've heard my other friends who care about hockey and the Coyotes in particular. You're echoing their sentiments about this. It just feels like a stretch when you've got the Jacksonville Jaguars hanging out there to say that the Coyotes are the franchise that makes everybody feel good about themselves.
Yeah, I'm
like Mark Sanchez was the quarterback of the Jets for more than 1 year.
Yeah,
so
right.
Rex Ryan was your head coach.
Let's to say that they're the worst. I mean, they've been pretty rough. It's been rough on the Coyotes for a few years. I got to give them credit. Even during COVID, they made the playoffs last year. I mean, it was an expanded year, but they also won a series. So it proved that they belong, right? They made some good moves. They've made a lot of bad moves, and it's going to be an uphill battle for a few years. So I won't discredit that part of it. Think about the Chargers. The Chargers were bad for a lot of years as well. Haven't won anything of late. In the NHL, Ottawa has been really bad for a lot of years. The Senators have not been very good. So you've got other teams out there. Buffalo's been. I mean, the Detroit Red Wings. Yeah, well, that I'm digging a little deep. Detroit Red Wings, as of lately, have been really bad. They're a historic franchise, so that might have been a little bit of an overreach. But if you're looking at it locally, they're really bad. They've got an ingrained fan base that's going to cheer for them no matter what. So, there's that. I just think that's a little bit of a reach. You can't compare apples and oranges, but you can't just say like this is the worst sports team of all without looking at things like the Jacksonville Jaguars, without looking at the Cincinnati Bengals, without looking at the Jets that are horribly, epically atrocious. Like I don't know. You got to look at some different things before you just come out and say like, They're in a playoff spot right now. The Coyotes are in a playoff spot right now. I mean, I know it's a young season, but like, come on, man. You're talking about against teams that are years away from even smelling the playoffs, and you're going to paint a picture that they're the worst? I don't know. I don't know about that. I think that the Coyotes need to win some more bigger games. They need to establish themselves as a presence, but and get some. I think with their new management team they have, I think they're going to make some better decisions, and hopefully that transitions onto the ice. And to come after the fan base too, he kind of came after the fan base.
It's hard for me.
I don't know about that one.
It's hard for me to fault anyone who doesn't live in the state of Arizona for coming after an Arizona sports fan base, though, because we've talked about this ad nauseum. It's a notoriously not only fair weather, but just uneducated and bad sports fan base in the state because we're so full of transplants. There are so few Arizona born and bred. I mean, in the wintertime, our population triples. And then in the
Right.
summer, it jumps right back down to whoever can withstand what
Nothing,
we've got
yeah.
going on here. But we just don't, we have no tradition. We have no history. People don't
Yeah.
really care about sports franchises here. Not even really at like the college level where you kind of see some of that rabid fan activity from alums who've been here forever and bleed
Sure.
the colors of the school. It just doesn't really exist here. So I can't
Sure.
fault, especially an outside analyst, for looking at this and by default comparing it to what they know. Like, you come from
Yeah.
an East Coast whatever, you come from Green Bay, you come from
Yeah.
the Midwest,
Yeah.
you come from anywhere
Yeah.
in the SEC where like these
Sure.
things are ingrained in your DNA, and then you come watch like a football game in State Farm Stadium where people are showing up midway through the first quarter and leaving in the third. During like when your
Right.
team is good, that's what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And half of the
True.
stands is the other team's colors. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to say anything other than something derogatory about the Arizona sports fan
Yeah.
base. So I can't fault them for that. It's hyperbolic, like you said. Defector media is full of guys who are extremely good at writing the ridiculous hyperbolic stuff and making it plausible.
Sure.
It's kind of been their shtick for a while, is they just go all out with stuff. So I understand where they're coming from with that too. But so take it with a grain of salt. But I like, the Arizona sports fan base is not good.
We've talked about that for sure, but just to go after them like that, like, these are the people that even the true bloods, I would say, like us, that are going to cheer for, this is my team. Yeah, you can call them all that you want. You can call them the worst team ever. They're still my team. I'm still going to cheer
Yep.
for them. It's like, man, we're helping pay for these guys. Like, we're going to the games and we're cheering for them, regardless of the fact that we may be the outcast in a home stadium cheering for our own team, but we're still going to do it. Darn it, So I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know how much research was done into it. Like, probably enough to formulate a good argument that he had. But also, I was just kind of taken aback. That was an interesting read, but just to get people worked up, which is good.
Yeah, number one goal of media, right, is just get people worked up.
Just get worked up about something.
That's why we're just going to only talk about religion and politics from now on in our podcast.
Just to get people worked up.
Coming up next, the top 10 religions in the world.
And why
Ranked
they're
in
all
order of
great and bad.
best to worst. Brody, the mustache. I mustache you about this.
Oh,
It's got you've got the handlebars working.
it's getting there, dude. It's awfully close.
Did you buy the wax?
Everybody, I'll just put it. Yeah, I've got wax. I have learned some things, dude. I've learned some things about mustaches and waxes, ladies and gentlemen. I'll post this on our Twitter this week. How about that? And we'll take a poll vote of what to do with this thing when I get it worked out. So I bought this wax, and it said, use a pea-sized amount and roll it in your fingers, and then you shape your mustache or shape your facial hair how you want. Well, I learned a couple of things. Number one, a pea-sized is, I think, for your entire facial hair, because it is way too much, dude. I used way too much. I was just curling the mustache, right? So that was number one. Number two, I don't think you roll it into a ball. I think you need to make it flat and just kind of like, get it on your fingers just
So
enough to
you were
kind of get the
like
curl going.
spinning and then curling, yeah?
Yeah. And I think I just need to kind of make it kind of pulled out like this. That's kind of where I'm going. That's what I'm going to try the next time. I haven't had a chance to really try it. I've just been kind of doing it because of the way I'm doing it now, just without wax. But I need to trim it again too, because it's lopsided. So my facial hair is a wreck, guys. It's bad. Like, it's just, I was looking at it and everybody's like, no, it looks fine. And I'm like, no, you're just being nice. It doesn't actually. I need to like,
really
make
does
it
look fine.
I trimmed it. I did trim it because it was looking really Vikingly and long, and it had a lot going on, bro. So I trimmed it up a little bit. So I'm gonna trim it and make this come out like this. What
are you posting on what are you putting on the poll? Whether you keep it or get rid of it, because we've already determined you're not getting rid of it.
Oh, okay. So that was the executive decision.
100%. That thing is sticking around.
So what's the question then? Is it just what to do with it? Do I curl it or do I keep it straight out like this?
I mean, I would pose the question as facial hair ? And then the answers would be yes or great.
That's it. That's your options. Like, I think straight. I think I'm going to straighten it out. Because last time I curled them up, I think I'm going to straighten them out.
Straight versus curl. Put it on the poll. Straight versus curl.
That's it. Straight versus curl. Is it a straight handlebar or is it a curled? Is it curled up? So this is curled up like this. I don't know if I know. I don't think that's it. I think it's straight out like that.
Maybe one side straight and the other side curled, so I can get a good context for what we're doing here.
Which one, left or right? Oh my gosh.
Brody, by next week, we'll have an answer on that. For closing us out for this week, what do you got number-wise?
Dude, I've got a good number for us tonight. I've got 96. 96 is going to be our number. Because on February the 21st, Lindsey Fry, who I think is awesome and an ambassador for hockey and an ambassador for the Arizona Coyotes, is and an Olympian and all of the above, is skating 96 miles, Mo. 96 miles on rollerblades across the valley and is raising $49,000 in memory of Leighton Accardo, who passed away in August from her long battle with cancer and was a diehard Arizona fan. So Chelsea and I made our donation to the Arizona Coyotes Foundation, and I encourage all of our listeners to do the same. It helps promote the sport of hockey for girls in Arizona. And I can't believe Lindsey Fry is going to skate, dude. She's going to skate 96 miles, like 96. She's going to leave and skate to all of the ice rinks in the valley and then end at Gila River Arena. That's crazy to me. So I'm going to count to 96.
I could beat that time on a skateboard. Well, that has wheels, Dwight. Well, my feet don't, and I could still crush that time.
I didn't make the reference at first, and I was like, Mo, I saw you take 2 tries to get off the couch before. All right, you're not beating her on a skateboard.
From the desk to the couch at the moment.
So you're not going 96 miles on a skateboard.
96 miles. Bring it home.
All right, ain't got a bit of a 10, ain't got a bit of a 20, ain't got a bit of a $20 bidder, ain't got a bit of a 30, ain't got a bit of a 30, 40, heard out a bit of a $50, ain't got a bit of a now 60, ain't got a bit of a $60, ain't got a bit of a 70, heard out a bit of a now 70, 80, heard out a bit of a now 90, ain't got a bit of a 90 down 95, heard out a bit of a 95, 96, heard out a bit of a 66, heard out a bit of a 97, ain't got a bit of a $97, heard out a bit of a $7, heard out a bit of a 97. Sold it. 96 miles. Lindsey Fry going to be skating for Leighton. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you, Mo. It was good talking to you.
Good talking to you, too. Everybody, thanks for listening to the Brody and Mo In-Law Show, Season 2. The game stops here. A tale of free agency. By the time we get done with this, I will have that a little bit more smooth, I anticipate. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at bmils2020@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @InlawShow. Otherwise, we'll see you all next time.
Bye, guys.